فأي الفريقين أحق بالأمن فأي الفريقين أحق بالأمن إن كنتم تعلمون الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون وتلك حجتنا آتيناها إبراهيم على قومه نرفع درجات من نشاء إن ربك حكيم عليم صدق الله العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وأهل بيته وذريته أجمعين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصل عليه الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا شفيع المذنبين وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. Inshallah, the topic of this khutbah of Eid al-Adha and the subsequent khutbah which follows this, and on Jumatul Mubarak, which is in 2 days' time, we will continue with the topic of the Tawheed of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, the monotheism of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, and how he presented the message of Tawheed not just verbally but with his action. He demonstrated what it is to be a muwahid, a firm believer in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the face of animosity, in the face of oppression, in the face of being targeted and persecuted just for believing in one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just for being a Muslim, just for propagating the deen of Islam, Ibrahim alayhi salam endured the most difficult of circumstances, and he stood up to his nation from an early age. The ayat which I started with are from Surah Al-An'am, from ayah 74 up until ayah 83. And in these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, and I will translate, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. And remember when Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said to his uncle, Azar, the Quran says, لِأَبِيهِ, his father. So in the Arabic culture, just like in our Indian subcontinent culture, we call our uncles our father figures, like Taya Abu, Chacha Abu. Similarly, Azar was his uncle, was the brother of his real father, whose name was Tariq. Even in Judaism, they believe and they know that his father was Tariq and his uncle was Azar. The idol worshipper, Azar, was the uncle of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he was his father figure. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Look how the Quran mentions Ibrahim alayhi salam and how he stood up in his own household to his father figure, to his uncle. And remember when Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said to his paternal uncle, his father figure Azar, لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Do you take idols as gods? Do you believe in these idols as gods? Do you worship them as gods? Inni araka wa qawmaka fi dhalalim mubin. Indeed, I find you and your people in open error. The most difficult people to convince and to challenge are the people of your own household. When they are in the wrong, when they are committing shirk, to stand up, because what do you face straight away? What do you face? Eviction. You face disowning. You are disowned by the family. You are evicted. Why? Because you stood up for haqq. Ibrahim as-salam didn't, and this is the greatest. You can stand up to people outside. You can even stand up to the king or the powers that be. But it's more difficult to stand up to your own family when they are committing shirk, or when they are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they are committing a haram. It's very difficult. The entire family gathers around you. And Ibrahim as-salam shows with his example, when you are speaking the truth, it's not about family takes precedent. No, haqq, the truth takes precedent. Inni araka wa qawmaka fi dhalalim mubin. I find you and your people in open error. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the conviction of Iman, the depth of Iman, the strength of Iman to Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. And he says, وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. And we show Ibrahim alayhi salam the entire kingdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him his entire kingdom. And according to one narration, this is when he had constructed the Kaaba, and he was stood on Maqam Ibrahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there and then showed him his kingdom, stood in front of the holy Kaaba. He saw the entire creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah wanted to show his kingdom to him, to say, I am the sole king, the sole creator, and the sole Lord of the entire universe. وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show him everything? So that he becomes of those who believe with certainty of sight. He had certainty of sight. He had certainty of faith. One of the things in this day and age that we are living in, one of the key things is to have confidence as a Muslim. Be a confident Muslim. If somebody challenges your Islam, if somebody challenges your belief, if they blaspheme nowadays, they openly blaspheme online, they blaspheme right in front of your face. Islamophobia, as I said on Jumatul Mubarak, is rampant now. Nobody's hiding it. Everyone is targeting Islam. Well, Islam is not compatible with our way of living. And they target Islam. They will ask you questions. I remember when I went to school, colleges, they always used to ask about, oh, do you cut some people's hand? Do you stone people to death for stealing? Do you cut somebody's hand? And if they commit adultery, do you stone them to death? How barbaric, how barbaric. And nowadays they come up with all sorts of blasphemies and hatred against Islam. Yet this society has left all its Christian values, every single one of them. They talk about Christian values. What Christian value have you got left in this culture? Zero. We the Muslims still, even the way we are just Muslim by name, still have some Islamic values, some Muslim values. The society cannot tell us what is right and what is wrong. And if somebody challenges you and you don't have the answer, don't lose your confidence. Say, I will ask and I will come back to you. Ask an imam. If he doesn't know, ask an imam who's a better scholar, who has a higher rank. Look online, find the answer. Your deen, your Quran is open, and the Quran gives an open challenge. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Do they not contemplate the Quran? The Quran says, come and challenge me. Come and challenge the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Come and interrogate and investigate the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Break down each word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the unique thing about Islam. Islam doesn't say, just seal your lips and whatever you're being told, just listen and obey. No, Islam says, no, you do tadabbur of Quran. You should contemplate the Quran. You should try to understand. So one of the key things here that I want to address from this message is be a confident Muslim. Not confident in the sense that you're arrogant and rude and you are a bully and obnoxious. No, confidence in that when somebody challenges you, you stand up and say, I believe in Islam. This is my religion and I'm proud to be a Muslim. And the practices of Islam, they have deep grounding. Islam is deep rooted, and Islam is the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Christianity, Judaism, and the Muslims, all three say that we are an Abrahamic religion. These are Abrahamic religions. The people of the book, the only true religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam, millata abikum Ibrahim. We are on the millat, we are on the way, we are on the path, we are upon the sunnah of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. We are the Abrahamic religion. The deen of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the deen of Ibrahim alayhi salam. You can say that with confidence. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was an immensely confident young man. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to teach you. Be a confident Muslim. Stand up and be proud to be Muslim and challenge all the evils of society openly, in a positive way, in a non-argumentative way, in a constructive way, in an educational, in a way that educated people, civilized people challenge the practices of society and say these are not compatible with Islam and these are the reasons. وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ, so that he would have certainty of faith. And then I think during this khutbah I will only focus on this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the time and even now, people worship the stars, people worship the moon, people worship fire. There are still fire worshippers in Iran. I met one a decade ago and he says it's time for Islam to leave Iran because we, the fire worshippers, our temple used to burn for 1,000 years. That temple, the fire went out the night Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam blessed this earth with his arrival. So there are still fire worshippers. There are people who worship the moon, people who worship the stars. And the point here is that Ibrahim alayhi salam challenged every single false god. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَآ كَوْكَبًا. When the darkness of the night came upon him and he saw a star, قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. He said, do you regard this as my Lord? Do you say that this star, these galaxies, this celestial system, this is the God? He asked them the question. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. Then when it set, he said, I do not like those who set. This is set, the stars are still there in the morning. When the sun comes out, the stars disappear from our eyes. And he says, I do not like those who set. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا قَالَ هَذَا. He refuted every single shirk one by one. فَلَمَّا, and he starts with, he challenged his father figure saying, do you worship these idols? He refuted the idols, he refuted the stars as being God, and then فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. And when he saw the moon shining, he said, do you state this is my Lord? The moon is my Lord? Then when it said, فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَإِن لَّمْ يَهْدِنِي رَبِّي لَأَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِّينَ. Then when it said, he said, if my Lord had not guided me, I too would have been amongst the people who are astray. You are a people who are astray. You are worshipping the moon. And you think that the moon is God? فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي هَذَا أَكْبَرُ. When he saw the sun shining brightly, he said, do you say that this is my Lord? Do you say that the sun is my Lord? The sun is the Rabb of the creation. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَتْ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تُشْرِكُونَ. This is the biggest of them all. هَذَا أَكْبَرُ. This is the biggest one of them all. So you must think that this is the Lord. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَتْ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تُشْرِكُونَ. Then when it said, he said, oh people, I am disgusted with all of the things that you ascribe as partners. You think that the sun and the stars and the moon and the idols and these things which are the elements, the idols are made of wood and stone. Do you think these are your God? Do you think this is your God? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. And you and I know we live in an age of information, that astronomy and astrology has reached heights and reached the level of information that was not available before. And now they say that every single year they discover hundreds of new galaxies. These stars, I have very limited knowledge of astronomy and astrology. If somebody is sitting here who has knowledge, I do ask for to be excused. But as far as I know, these stars are the suns of their own galaxies. The creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is limitless. And He is Rabbus samawati wal ard. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, you think this is God? You think this is God? You think this is God? And he was alone. Nobody in his community worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was on his own, challenging the entire society and saying that I am disgusted with that. You think these are gods that you worship, and they are in charge, and they are the creator. And he said, Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati wal ardi hanifan wa ma ana min al-mushrikeen. I direct my face towards the one who has created the heavens and the earth, devoted solely to him, and I am not of the polytheists. He said, look, I devote myself. Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati wal ard. I am turning myself to the one who created. Fatar means creating them from nothing. He is a creator. Now human creation, we need some precedent. We need a model to base our creation in. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created it from nothing, from no design. He created this beautiful design. He created perfection with his Inni wajjahtu wajhiya alladhi fatara as-samawati wal ard. I am turning to the one who created the heavens and the earth. He is the creator of the heavens. And Hanifa. Hanifan means pure. Hanif means the one who has disconnected himself from all falsehood and is a pure, in the purest and most sincerest of forms. He is a believer. Ibrahim alayhi salam has been described as Hanif many times. وَاتَّبَعُوا مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا. Here again, فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ حَنِيفًا وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And I am not the one who is a polytheist, who has ascribes partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Quran says, مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. What a praise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh Jews, you commit shirk. Oh Christians, you have destroyed the concept of monotheism. I'm talking about Christianity. Christianity has created the Trinity from the one God. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, Maryam salamullahi alayha came. Isa alayhi salam came to propagate and to preach in relation to one God and one God alone. Yet they created a God out of him. आप साथ साथ जामिया हरूनिया के लिए चंदा भी करते जाएं. Please donate generously to Jamia. In 3 minutes time, inshallah, 4 minutes according to this clock, I will finish my bayan, and inshallah we will have Eid al-Adha Jamaat. Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati wal ardi hanifan wa ma ana min al-mushrikeen. Ibrahim alayhi salam has been described that he was not a Jew, he was not a Christian, he did not propagate Judaism, he did not propagate Christianity. وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. He was the purest of Muslims. This gives the Muslim Ummah the claim, the rightful claim, that we are the true followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and we are the true religion that Ibrahim alayhi salam brought. This is the true religion which has been adopted. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحَاجَّهُ قَوْمُهُ قَالَ تُحَاجُّونِي فِي اللَّهِ وَقَدْ هَدَانِ. And his people started to dispute with him. And he said, do you dispute with me concerning Allah? And he has already shown وَقَدْ هَدَانِ وَلَا أَخَافُ مَا تُشْرِكُونَ بِهِ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ رَبِّي شَيْئًا. He has shown me the right path, and I do not fear them who you ascribe as partners. Yes, whatever only my Lord wills happens. إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ رَبِّي شَيْئًا وَسِعَ رَبِّي كُلَّ شَيْءٍ إِلْمًا. My Lord's knowledge encompasses everything. أَفَلَا تَتَذَكَّرُونَ. So do you not accept advice? And then he said something remarkable. When you are speaking the truth, when you are speaking haqq, and the others are trying to denounce you. This is what's happening to the Muslims. We are upon haqq, we are the believers of the true religion, yet they question Islam and they put doubts into the young people's mind, and our young people don't reach out. There is a generational gap. I'm speaking English, but I can tell you no young person has ever come to me and says, Imam Sahib, I have this question. Because I dressed up with shalwar kameez and I am from a certain generation. There is a generational gap. There is a cultural gap even. There is a gap that our young people have this lack of confidence in being a Muslim. And Ibrahim as-salam, he is showing you. And he says, وَكَيْفَ أَخَافُ مَا أَشْرَكْتُمْ وَلَا تَخَافُونَ أَنَّكُمْ أَشْرَكْتُمْ بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ عَلَيْكُمْ سُلْطَانًا. And why should I fear whatever you ascribe as partners? Why should I fear your false gods and your false beliefs when you do not fear to ascribe partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You are ascribing partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have the audacity of challenging me when I am telling you about Tawheed of Allah. And he said, why should I fear your false gods and your community and yourselves when you don't fear disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Here, the Muslims who follow the true religion are being told off that your religion dominates, your religion is it takes the freedom of women. The Muslim women should speak out. The Muslim women do. They say this is not our freedom. This is the honor. The fact that we dress up in hijab and niqab. This is our honor. This is not taking away our freedom. Who are you to question? Who are you to liberate us from Islam? Islam liberates you from everything else. वो एक सजदा जिसे तू गरा समझता है, हजार सजदे से देता है आदमी को निजात. Allama Iqbal, the poet of the East, said this one sajda which is heavy upon you, this relieves you from all bowing down to every single false god, to the god of economy, to the god of money, to the god of wealth, to the god of pride, to the god of arrogance, to the god of nationalism, the god, the statue inside you. This relieves you, this gives you ultimate freedom, that I fear no one, I worship no one except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam gives you the ultimate freedom. Islam doesn't take away your freedom. So be confident as Muslims. And he says to his nation, you have the audacity of questioning me, yet why should I be fearful of your gods and yourselves when you are not fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are committing shirk? وَلَا تَخَافُونَ أَنَّكُمْ أَشْرَكْتُمْ بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ عَلَيْكُمْ سُلْطَانًا. And you have no authority to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأَيُّ الْفَرِيقَيْنِ يَحَقُّ بِالْأَمْنِ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Inshallah, a couple of ayat and inshallah I will finish. So which of the two groups, Muslims or polytheists, have more right to safety if you know? He said, which of the two groups? Are the Muslims right or are the mushrikeen right? Who have the greatest right to safety? الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِظُلْمٍ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. And those who believe and did not mix injustice, polytheism, did not commit shirk with their faith, safety is only for them. Safety is for the one who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Safety is not for the one who says everyone is right. We're all, you follow your religion, I follow my religion. No. When it comes to debating religion, you have to be confident. Islam is the only dina and Allah Islam. Yes, we live in a multicultural society. Yes, we live and let live, but never be in any doubt. Never compromise the teachings of Islam. Never compromise the actions of Islam. Stand firm in your belief. Be confident Muslims, oh my young brothers and nephews. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِظُلْمٍ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. Only they are upon the truth and upon the guidance. And last thing I'll say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا آتَيْنَاهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَّن نَّشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. And this is our strong argument which we gave to Ibrahim alayhi salam. This is how we equipped him. How did he equip himself? With knowledge, with confidence, with the conviction of Iman. If you want to take the message of Islam forward, you need to have knowledge. You need to have conviction of Iman. How will you get conviction of Iman in this day and age? By engaging with the noble Quran, by interacting with the noble Quran, by understanding the noble Quran. Then you will have conviction of Iman. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is how we gave Ibrahim alayhi salam. وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ. And this is how he stood up to his people. نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَّن نَّشَاءُ. We raise and ranks whoever we will. نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَّن نَّشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. Indeed, your Lord is the all-wise, all-knowing. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Now, inshallah, we will stand and offer 2 rakat namaz Eid al-Adha, and I'll just make some very brief announcements.